really gets to the heart of the service industry. We're talking about the heart of hospitality, whether it's kindness or business. The hospitality industry or hospitality really used to be about warmth, about care, and human connection. And I mean, that feeling of being genuinely welcome and all of that. But these days, many people are beginning to ask whether the industry has become too focused on profits, on performance, and online ratings. Has hospitality lost its personal touch? Because think about it, from the smile at the front desk to how guests are treated when things go wrong, the experience still depends on people. Yet, behind all that, businesses have to meet targets, they have to make money, and of course, stay competitive. So, where exactly is the balance? Can kindness and business truly coexist? Well, that's exactly what we are exploring today on our roundtable discussion. I have two incredible guests joining me. I have, and they're going to share their thoughts with us this morning on exactly what they think about the subject matter. I have joining me Professor Gabriel Ishen. He's a professor of tourism management at the University of Johannesburg, and also Fred Asante. He is a managing partner at Countryside Trips of Countryside Trips Ghana. And these are the two gentlemen I'm going to speak to. Gentlemen, good morning. You're welcome to the Business Breakfast on Z.
Good morning.
That's
Good
Prof.
morning, Nii Trebi.
And that's Fred. Okay. I hope we're doing well. Let me start with Prof. Prof, I hope you're doing well.
Very well. And yourself, how are you doing? And greetings to your audience.
Yeah,
You're doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing well by God's grace. By God's grace. Thank you so much for making time to join us. And Fred, good morning.
Good morning, Nii. I'm doing very, very well. I hope you're doing the same.
Yeah, I'm doing very well by God's grace. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. All right, so we'll get into our conversation, and today we're talking about something very important, and I know that both of you are at the intersection of what we're talking about this morning. Prof is doing some theory in that, and also you are doing some practical, so it helps our conversation, keeps it rounded. All right, so of course, hospitality is often described as the art of making people feel welcome, and that's exactly what I indicated during in my introduction, really. But what exactly is at its core? Is it profit? Is it genuine care? And that's what we're starting a conversation this morning. Maybe you help us. When we talk about the heart of hospitality, what exactly comes to mind? And I'll start with you, Prof.
Thank you very much. It's nice to come your way again. And, that is doing grand. And I hope people are listening for all the hard work you are putting in. We thank God for it and for the vision. First of all, I would like to say that when we look at the fons et origo, which is the origin of the word hospitality itself, it comes from the Latin word hospitalitas, which means friendliness. How you are able to exhibit that quality of being a host, the ability to be able to exhibit the quality of being a host. And that is really the meaning of hospitality. How friendly are you? How do you make people feel at home? Are you a good host? And with that, you can really, just from the top of your mind, you can think about a lot of qualities that you must consider if you want to tell somebody the person is a good host or a bad host. And that is where the pecuniary nature of what is hospitality, and also the humanistic nature or the human relation nature of what hospitality is also comes into play. So it's always this binary.
Right.
It doesn't need to be in tension. It doesn't need to be antithetical to each other. It doesn't need to be diegetic. It doesn't need to be eating at each other's throat, right? It needs to find that intricate and positive relationship where, in as much as you're able to exude that kind of relations that brings your humanity to bear, at the same time, because you are offering service, you are offering value, you get money for it, And that is really the simulacrum, the quintessence of what hospitality is about.
I see, Prof. Thank you very much. Let me, Fred, kindly share your thoughts on same. What exactly, when we talk about the heart of hospitality, what exactly comes to mind?
All right, thank you, Trevi. I didn't thank your cherished listeners and also taking advantage to greet and thank all partners, friends, and clients of Countryside Trips. We appreciate them, of course, for the everyday business. I said that you are doing pretty well, amazingly well, especially with your
Thank you.
business breakfast show.
Thank you.
When I saw this topic, I said it's a very key and important topic, especially ahead of December, where we know or where it is confident to say that that is the cocoa season for the for the hospitality business, skewing down to tourism, and of course, by virtue of the holidays, the festivities, and all that. However, it's an important topic for us to know or for us to discuss, especially as we prepare towards December to host our clients from all over the world. But the question of whether hospitality has shifted probably from just mere kindness to business. We are different scopes of hospitality. We have basically the structural one and the relationship or the social one. Of course, structural one will have to be with probably the hoteliers, the restaurants, and all that, where, of course, they may have invested or set up basically to make profit and all that. And of course, also we have the social one where probably you may be in other businesses where you may not have necessarily, invested structures and all that. That is where we say that Ghanaians, we pride ourselves in hospitality. It may happen subconsciously by virtue of our culture and all that. So if you are breaking hospitality down really, it may have some element of kindness and also some element of business. But the bottom line for me, especially in the tourism industry, where I would say I'm an expert or I'm a professional in, I would say that the bottom line for hospitality, as far as tourism is concerned, is to create lasting memories. Whether you're making money or whether you are doing it out of passion, is to be able to create lasting memories for the client. Because hospitality basically is about providing guests with comfort and excellent service, which is geared towards memories and again satisfaction.
I
So, of
see.
course, even if you are looking for money, you would want to be able to create a lasting memory so that the client will be happy. And of course, a happy customer is the best means for advertisement. So, of course, we may look for business, but we shouldn't forget the kindness, which would give us a long lasting reputation and, of course, customer loyalty, which would, in a long term, fetch us even more business than what we are looking for today.
Fred, do you believe hospitality today still carries that human touch it was once known for, or has it become purely transactional from where you sit?
Well, not necessarily. I think what is making it more transactional, or what is probably taking our mind to the transactional nature or the profit-driven nature of hospitality, is because of the introduction of several hospitality businesses, and this is purely my opinion, that there's been the penetration of several hospitality players in the industry. So, of course, once there's such a situation, of course, there will be some great players who will contribute positively, and again, some players in the industry who may, instead of taking us forward, will take us back because of course, their quest for quick money and all that. My advice is that, of course, we are in this business not necessarily because we just want to wake up and then provide hospitality for people. Most people are in business, of course, to make some returns. But the bottom line is that in the quest to make profit, however, you should be able to make an impact. So profit making is not a single transaction something. And this is where anytime I meet my friends in the hospitality business, I let them know that it's not a single time transaction. You may be able to make impacts now and, of course, generate or make returns or profit tomorrow. And again,
Hello, Fred. Okay, I think we lost Fred. Prof, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
because of it
All right.
and all that,
Fred,
that
Fred, we lost
should
you.
be able to
Hello?
we should. Hello.
Yeah, we lost you a bit.
I don't know if it's better.
Yeah,
Sorry
I think
about
it's
that.
better now. Yeah.
Yes. So I was advising that with the penetration of different players in the industry, of course, we may have our strengths, we may have our weaknesses, but it's good we are available so that it creates easy access for clients who need our services. However, because of our strengths and weaknesses, I would advise that we collaborate instead of competition. We collaborate so that probably you are into the hotelier business, you are into the restaurant business, you are into the tourism business. Let's look at how to collaborate so that we leverage each other's strengths, and again we harness or we fill the gap of each other's weakness. If we're able to collaborate, the customer, the client from diaspora, the client from internal do not know who is necessarily providing the service, but is basically looking for an experience. So if you're able to collaborate and fill each other's gaps, we will transact, make money, also demonstrate or exhibit kindness, and then brings customer satisfaction without exposing ourselves on our weakness. And again, this is where the trick is. So yes, it is not just about we shifting from kindness to look for money. Of course, we need to look for money. However, we just need to do it well by collaborating and ensuring customer satisfaction, which of course will lead to customer loyalty for future business.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. It's interesting that we have to even be talking about kindness or debating kindness really in a service industry. Why? Let me ask you, Prof. Why is kindness actually something so basic, even up for debating an industry that is built on service?
You know, we are humans, and as humans, there are some essentials that we must exhibit before one can be said that you are human. Okay, so you will see a person and the demonstration of their character, the content of their personality will tell you whether they are humans or not. You see, so in fact, even if you look into account, they will say "Onyemeze." The person knows the foundations of where he or she is coming from. Okay, and a person just doesn't become a person unless there are demonstrations, palpable, visible manifestations. You know, palpable, visible manifestations. You know, that the person has to exude. Now, why focus on kindness? Kindness is the osmosis in the system where you demonstrate that you care about the other person. You are banal. You have that empathetic nature. You are generous. You care for the other person. Okay, well-being. And it also goes right to the philosophy of Ubuntu, which says that I am because you are, which means that your well-being is ineluctably intertwined with the well-being of the other person. So if you do bad, I do bad. If you do good, I do good. You get it?
Yeah.
And that element of kindness can never be taken out, whether it's hospitality or tourism. The essence of kindness in business is also about the golden rule. What you don't like to be done to you, don't do it to another person. Because anytime visitors or clients come to your product, the first time they encounter you, they're going to have the moment of truth. That moment of truth is going to tell them whether they are going to put you in the evoked set or not. When they encounter you, they will come to the DDS, whether they are dissatisfied with you, or they are delighted with you, or they are satisfied with your product. And that is why we need to be able to get to know the 4 P's of the quintessential marketing mix, which has got to do with the tangible, marketing product, to the hospitality, which is more intangible. And you will need to have the 3 P's, and you can even add on to it. Your physical ambience, the personnel, and the the physical ambience, the personnel, and the process. And the process meaning the way in which you go about serving them. For example, if you go to a restaurant, you may be able to carve out a sustainable competitive edge by the way in which you go about serving them. So the way you serve at one place may be different to another place, and you may cherish that process. So the process alone can give you a competitive edge. Or the physical ambience. Maybe you like flowers, and there are a lot of exotic flowers at the place. The air there is salubrious. You know, the mere environment is one that you find quite conducive to what you want to do. That physical ambience must also be based on the five senses. What is the sense, the scent like at the place? All right. What kind of the feeling of the seat that they are even sitting in. Okay. So you play around the five senses to achieve your competitive edge there as well. Then the last one is the personnel themselves. And with the personnel, in the tourism sector, I remember doing the research and I was talking about the fact that, first of all, tourism must have the Ulster factor. And with the Ulster factor, we are talking about something that is soft because we have the hard component of tourism and we have the soft component of tourism. In other words, we have the build, you can have your buildings, your startups, and all that. But it's the human face to it that is the thing that becomes a bit more difficult for people to imitate. Using the resource-based view, it becomes more difficult if you have something very unique to the way in which your personnel are able to do it. And then you can talk about it. For example, even if, let me just do a non-secretor. In football, when you see some of the top guns like Messi and Ronaldo and all that, they've got their own uniqueness that they bring on board to every team that they join. Okay. In the same way that a good personnel who is able to exhibit the pearl factor, professionalism, excellence, astuteness, responsiveness, and leadership, the pearl factor. If the person is able to exude that, then that person is able to tangibilize. And the word tangibilize means that they make palpable the things that we don't see, because with hospitality is more about the experience. I remember in Cape Town, I was walking one day, I saw a guy, and I asked him, a security guard, I said, "What is the star of your hotel?" And then he looked at me and said, "Look at me very well. What do you think is our star?" I said, "5 star." He said, "Yes." Why? Because the way he has dressed, his suit and his tie and shoe and everything, right down at the gate, okay? You are seeing excellence even before you enter the main premises, right?
Yeah.
And that is the essence of what hospitality is. You cannot have the waitresses looking, haggard, and not bringing the best of their smiles on board, because they are in penury. You get it? You cannot have managers shouting down at the workers and you want them to be motivated and inspired. You cannot have workers who just want to take money and don't want to have even unconscious competence with what they are doing. There must be an amalgam of this resolve that is about making sure that we delight our customers.
Right.
Because a delighted customer will go and tell between 15 to 20 more people. And like Philip Kotler said, it costs 15 more times to attract a new customer. But I'm going to even, before I just, end on this one, we must also understand that the whole essence of business is about identifying a need. And a need does not come from the pocket of the business owner. A need is a state of felt deprivation in actual and potential customers. So you must be able to move away from the productivist, the productive or the production paradigm, the product paradigm, the selling paradigm, more to the customer perspective orientation, in marketing, where you get to know what your customers want, so that the solutions that you are providing, if somebody doesn't eat fufu, okay, and they visit you, or for example, if you go to India or even in Ghana, and you are having a restaurant around a Muslim community, and visibly you don't allow them to see that the meat that you are using in making your food is done the halal way, most people will not patronize. And it's the same thing that happened to Burger when they went to India and they were using beef. When a lot of them were Hindus and were like, oh, okay, we don't, cow is our sacred symbol in our religion. You get it?
Yeah.
So you need to have the presence of mind in hospitality. And that is what kindness is about. Because a person doesn't visit you with missing teeth, and you don't go and give the person bones to chew. You must be able to have the presence of mind culturally, historically, and economically and business-wise. And that's why I always say that the whole business, for the whole management hospitality, it needs to be decolonized.
How so?
Because we take a lot of models, Porter's 5 forces, research-based view, get hospital model, and you name it. But we forget the very essence of what it was that we exhibited in terms of what was hospitality. And hospitality is not just proverbial. It keeps changing, and we must be able to look at it in the face of the dynamism that it is, and then be in tandem with it, in pari passu with it, so that at the end of the day, whoever comes here have a taste of the Ghanaianness or the Africanness, at the same time not disavowed from the global best practices which we must exude in order to stay competitive internationally.
I see, but how do we personally? Okay, let me come to Fred. Fred, are you still with us?
Hi, Nii, I'm right here.
Okay, great. So let me come to you now. So how do you personally define that perfect balance? Because you were talking about balancing both of them, the kindness and also the business. How do you find that? How do you define the perfect balance between professionalism and genuine warmth in hospitality?
But before I start, I've been right here and I've just been enjoying every single word that Prof. And of course, looking at listening to what is being said, whatever time has been allocated for this discussion, I think is not enough. However, I'm sure at a better time we may need to.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I would be biased a little bit because I would skew towards tourism because that is my department or industry.
Right.
And before I address the question, let me take advantage to basically say this, that hospitality is a big part of our culture and our economy as Ghana, and again as Ghanaians. So basically, clients, especially from diaspora, need to know that Ghana is ever ready, and Ghana is known for it. Basically, to host and also create long-lasting memories. And also satisfaction for our clients. So, of course, we are welcome anytime, any day to receive and also to give them a good treat, especially from countryside trips. And again, as Ghanaians, it's always good to remind and inform ourselves that hospitality and peace is one of our greatest assets and reputation as a nation. So we need to protect it. You, like Prof said, you may not necessarily be the manager who will press the final button. But of course, you may be maybe the first person to ever meet the client, maybe at the doorsteps or at the front gates and all that. Again, you may not necessarily be the one to be with the client throughout their stay, but you may, in the 24 hours, be able to do something or be in touch or come in touch or in line with the client. And of course, something that you do can also contribute to the lasting memories. So yes, as Ghanaians, wherever we find ourselves, once we are coming in touch with someone, being it a Ghanaian, being it someone from Africa or beyond, let's know that we have a reputation to protect. And again, not to take us back, we need to do something that will positively remind the person that, of course, I'm in Ghana, and this is a Ghana that I heard of, or this is a Ghana that I was told that hospitality and kindness is one of their greatest assets. So yes, it's always good to inform and remind ourselves who we are as Ghanaians, and therefore to protect us. Now, back to your question of clearly balancing kindness and business.
Yeah.
Basically, I would say that, so the reason why I would say we are diverting from kindness, of course, to profit making, first of all, is because of the financial pressures. I mean, in reality, the financial pressure in reality. So you realize that you said earlier in your introduction that, of course, some of the reasons will obviously be high cost of living, leading to logistics costs and all that. And again, high targets, among some key players in the industry. So, for instance, I work in a particular firm, and it's basically to provide hospitality. And of course, my targets are too big. So, if I'm able to close a deal with a customer A, quickly I leave him aside and go and look for customer B because my target is still sitting and waiting for me. So, what it means is that instead of getting time to manage and treat customer A fully for the customer A to realize their expectations, that is not what I'm looking for. Once I'm able to convert the deal, it means that I'm done. I need to jump to customer B and leaving customer A to wonder what exactly the problem is, or why am I even here, or leaving for them to think on their feet and again to look for their own needs elsewhere. Again, unhealthy competition sometimes will bring a lot of pressures on us. So instead of probably from A to Z, engaging the client, knowing their expectation and meeting those expectations, which will bring satisfaction. We are rather looking for ways and means to be on top of each other as far as industry players are concerned. However, it's good you said professionalism. What is professionalism? I would always say that in tourism, professionalism is basically means doing something with passion or dedication. So, of course, you need to love what you do and do what you like. So, there are people in the business who are not necessarily having passion to play a role, but they're basically looking for money. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes you may get the money, but when the challenges come in, that is where you either misbehave or you may collapse. So, day in, day out, when I engage my friends in the tourism business, I would say that the passion and dedication is key. You may not have that passion and dedication, but if that is what you want to do, get the right players in the game for them to be able to do it. Because sometimes you may have the money or the resource to run the business. However, like Prof said, individual staff may have their own special qualities that will bring on the table. So you may not be able to do that, but get the right people who will bring the smiles on on people's faces and make them feel comfortable.
Hello, Fred. Hello, Fred. Okay, I think we lost Fred again. Prof, are you still with us, please?
Yes.
All right, Fred, are you back? Hello, Fred.
Yes, I'm here. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So, like, I was only repeating what Prof said earlier that things keep changing in the industry.
Yeah.
So, regardless of having the right players in the game, constant training will be needed because things change, demands change, approach to things change. So, it is necessary for the business to look at what is happening in the industry elsewhere and how can we adopt that and how can we bring that to our staff so that the changing needs of clients can be met. And again, collaboration. Sometimes I can pay for a trip organized by a competitor, basically to go and look at what is being done differently. It's not just because it's a competitor, so I need to cancel or throw away any initiative or any plan or any business. No,
Yeah.
you may need to sometimes embark on some of these things just to go and experience what is happening differently. What can we learn? And how can we even get new concepts and initiatives to make ours better?
Better.
Now, if you get to know a player who is doing an amazing effort or initiative that you need to also collaborate with. Businesses grow bigger and faster when they collaborate. So sometimes, instead of unhealthy competition in quotes, we can collaborate basically to help each other and then, of course, do greater and then bigger things. And again, it's also good for us to always evaluate. If you don't know the expectation of the client, you are literally literally unable to meet such expectations.
Mm.
So first of all, before usually before you on board on our trips, we are questionnaires or the
Hello.
expectation we are looking for, because we may have two people with two different expectations.
Right.
They could even be a husband and a wife, or a brother and a sister, or two friends coming from the same country, but with two different expectations, or
Right.
two different approaches that will meet their expectations, basically. And once we know that, of course, we structure our trips
Your services
or
towards
our
that.
itinerary basically to meet. And after that, we also need to evaluate to get to know whether the expectations were met,
Right.
what could have done right, what could have done differently. It helps us to make things better. So these are all professional approaches. So even if we are looking for money and you are constantly reviewing, you are constantly drafting, you are constantly collaborating, you are constantly training your staff to meet customer needs, of course, the customer will pay for whatever it is once the money is worth, the whole experience. They will
Right.
even pay bigger than what they are paying once the memories and once the satisfaction is being created. So yes, professionalism comes when we are deliberate and we are passionate and we are dedicated to what we are doing, rather than just in straight for money.
Right.
The money will come when you do the right things, I believe.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. Let me just announce our phone lines just in case anybody is listening to us, they have any questions. Please, if you're tuned in and this you're listening to the conversation, this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Nii Trebi Hammond. This morning we're talking about whether hospitality really is actually mixing kindness and business, or whether there needs to be some separation, or whether the focus has been on one against the other. And that's a conversation we are having this morning. I'm joined by Professor Gabriel Ishen. He's a professor of tourism at the University of Johannesburg, and also I have Fred Asante. He is also an executive, a tourism professional, and he's helping us have this conversation this morning. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and also on YouTube at Z Multimedia. If you want to send us a WhatsApp, please feel free, 0544321019, 0544321019, and we'll give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with us. You can as well call us on 03039566641, 03039566641. And then we give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with us. All right, let's talk about the human element. And I'll come to you, Prof. Prof, how much emotional intelligence matter in delivering good hospitality? Because I believe that at the heart of hospitality is the human factor. You talk about the attitude, the empathy, the emotional intelligence. How much does emotional intelligence really matter in delivering good quality or good hospitality? Sorry.
Thank you very much. The Bible talks about the fact that we should have wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. And I've always found that three elements very important in all spheres of life. What we need to know in the hospitality sector is that if we take knowledge as competence, having the expertise in the area, the element of wisdom and understanding is very important.
Yeah.
Because just one mistake can mar your image for a long time. I remember Winfrey Oprah went to France and he was entering a shop and they will not allow her to enter because she's a black woman. But they will not even bother to know about her identity. Imagine the amount of money that they would have to do in their PR to be able to get their brand equity on track. Imagine the exponential benefit that they could have gotten by even subtle brand association with the lady entering their shop alone. So as a manager or as a operator of a hospitality facility, the onus is always on your shoulder to ensure that your emotions, your emotions, your emotions, your emotions are top notch.
Mm.
And what is emotion anyway? Emotion is your personality emotion. In other words, let me unpack this.
Mm.
Emotion is how your personality is able to play along with the other personalities on the field. Human beings are very funny individuals. And I say very funny individuals because unless you get to understand the human nature of things, your competence, your certificate, how many years you have been in the industry and all that can really be thrown out of the window because you have not been able to exhibit the emotional intelligence. The emotional intelligence, yes, the emotional intelligence is what brings your humanity
Mm.
out. Your emotional intelligence, again, is what shows that you care about the other person. Your emotional intelligence is what shows that you are not greedy. Your emotional intelligence is going to show in collaboration and partnerships. Your emotional intelligence is going to show in your corporate social responsibility. Your emotional intelligence is going to show in the way in which you are able to inspire. So greatness in leadership is linked up to how intelligent you are emotionally.
Right.
Because in emotion, we see the tail of the monkey.
Mm.
In emotions, we see how you're able to do with naked fire. In emotions, we see how you are able to speak to storms and for the storms to calm down. In emotions, we're able to see how you're able to do conflict resolution. In emotions, you're able to exhibit that panache of your very seat that you occupy.
Mm.
So, a good leader is often seen in the way he speaks, the way he dresses. Barack Obama had 30 suits done for him, similar to 30. So he doesn't go and get confused as to what suit to wear and all that. Mark Zuckerberg had similar t-shirts. Okay, you go to Tim Cook. Most of the guys, they have a way that they even dress that shows their emotional maturity. Remember, a chief does not dress anyhow. A chief does not eat anywhere like that. A chief does not talk anyhow. Okay? These are all aspects of emotional maturity. And that is why I always say that we need to develop ourselves, both as leaders or the CEOs or whatever, leaders of companies, and even as followers, if you are aspiring
Yeah.
to occupy that big seat, you have to be very careful because if you are going to the city of birds, you don't stop by the way and collect nests. And if you're a leader and you will tend to every dog barking at you, it will be very hard to reach your destination. Emotional intelligence, you will not often get it from your certificate. Nobody can just come and say that, oh, this is how you cultivate emotional intelligence. We can theorize and all that, okay, on it. But we are human beings. And some things we must cultivate internally by the passion that we have, by the vision that we have, the purpose on our hearts. You cannot go to a palace speaking like a peasant.
But actually, I was coming to ask you that whether we can actually, whether empathy can really be trained, or is it something that people either have or they don't have completely?
You know, the human nature has been mad in the Garden of Eden. And from that nature, the human heart is not the same. There are evil in the heart of men, and there are good in the heart of men. That is why George Bernard Shaw could borrow from Asian wisdom by saying that there are two dogs in every human being: the good dog and the bad dog. The one that you feed more will reign inside of you. So empathy may be there in the person, okay? But if a person has unbridled appetite for competition, if it's always about me, I, okay? Everything must come to me. I'm the center of the world. The world revolves around me, okay? You develop unconsciously the attributes, okay? The character that will make you become somebody who goes to a place and it's always about me or nobody. Or that reminds me of science, all or none law. So is this, if you have this personality, it's very hard you can work with people. And even if you are working with people, you are going with Machiavellian tactics. Okay? If you are talking to people and you are a politician, it is all about water battery. Okay? If you are a pastor, it's all about making sure that the sheep or the flock on your pasture are fat enough for your occasions. If you are a teacher, it's all about how much money comes to you at the end of the day. No motivation. I mean, Fred is my student. Okay? So talking to Fred, imagine if Fred was talking and he was not making sense and he was not making good input. It would have been an indictment of me as a lecturer from KNUST, who have taught at KNUST before. You get it?
Yeah.
But if I see and I hear Fred making very good input, in fact, last time I was listening to one of my students from Cape Coast Castle, Thomas Abankwa, and I saw him on television. I said, this is one of my students. I paused in the living room and I listened to him. When I finished, I was clapping for him. You get it?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this as a way of egotistical, ointments, okay? I'm using this as a palpable punctuation of the fact that whatever we are doing, we must do it well and to the best of our ability and to show responsiveness, because some of the things will not come from textbooks. It will not come from the operating manual, okay? So you must go the extra mile of making sure that you've been trained all right. But then what is that extra thing that you have got? What's your X factor? What extra thing are you bringing on board that when you are not there, everybody will feel your absence? How do Maya Angelou would say that people will forget what you do, but they will not forget how you made them feel. Look back when you were in school. Look back at all the places that you have gone to. You've gotten a lot of the things that people said. But how the lecturer made you feel, how they inspired you. Did you see the humanity in them? Were they able to form a helix structure, a DNA structure with your vision? Are they part of the morphology that you are having today? All these things are the reason why somebody can go right down to nursery and be looking for the woman that taught them in class 1 or class 2 or class 3, because that woman showed them a star. When their necks were like pigs, because pigs cannot look up into the sky. And sometimes, by the nature of our mentality, we can have the pig factor, where we are not able to look into the sky. and somebody comes in and says to us that you are not a pig, so you can look at the stars, and that is where you belong. And that's what Kweji Agri was doing all along, traveling around Africa, Agri of Africa. And that's why he gave that testament statement, telling Kwame Nkrumah and all the rest that Africans are not chickens, Africans are eagles, and colonial grains has made us to look down on ourselves. But there is something inside of us, which is eagle, and we must fly again. How are we even making the people that we come in contact with, whatever area that we are? Because hospitality transcends, a lot of areas, and we ourselves must be an embodiment of the tablets that we want others to take for their healing.
Okay, Prof. Prof, thank you very much. Let me turn to you, Fred. Are you still with us, please?
Hi, Nii Trebi. I'm right here.
Yeah. Let's also talk about the small gestures. Sometimes I believe that is a small gestures that actually the guest remembers the most. And Prof actually also mentioned the quote from Maya Angelou that people don't remember what you say to them, but how you make them feel. How do from your experience, how do small gestures, maybe a smile, a warm greeting, a personal attention, influence guest satisfaction? Hello, Fred. Hello, Fred.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So.
Right. So, indeed, emotion. I mean, when you talk about the emotion, like Prof said, it's personality emotion. That is one of my keywords I'm taking from this session, and a good one there, Prof. Nii Trebi, I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Right. So, before I get there, let me inform or remind our cherished listeners that tourism is a very important exercise. Tourism is a very important exercise. Usually, we may want to sit down and let foreigners, in quotes, probably come and enjoy the great places that we have as a nation. It's not as if we are also traveling to experience other things or other places. But we tend to probably have the excuse of too much economic pressure, family pressure, work pressure to let us neglect the good things that we have as a nation. Trust me, tourism is a very important exercise. And again, I repeat, having been in tourism for some years, I've had clear testimonies where families, where couples, where siblings, where colleagues, church associations testify the goodness in tourism, basically helping them to reset, restart, spice relationships, and again relax so that they can bounce back to whatever they are doing. Countryside trips, we've done quite a number of these exercises for associational staff, associational members, corporate staff, churches, friends, families, and all that. And you can clearly get the testimonies, especially when we have our feedbacks or our survey, the need and importance of tourism, on Ghanaians and even on foreigners or Ghanaians and beyond. And of course, December is a very big platform for us to, even if we haven't done anything like that before, we should be able to do that. At least it help us to bounce back or enter into 2016 with some 2026 with some memories, with some energy, and again with some smiles all over the year. So every month we do our tours. We set destinations in Ghana, different regions. First and second November, for instance, we'll be going to Edukom, Adoko Farms around Safari Valley, basically to go and relax. December we have a plan, and every single month we go. So we do Ghana and also outside of Ghana. So of course we can as well talk anytime that we have our clients wanting to do something like that. Now, to the question of the little things that count. Now, I made the earlier statement because we often don't look at the little things, the importance of tourism. And we think that, oh, I need to get a lot of money before I can go for tourism and before I can go and relax somewhere. I started this purely when every single weekend I would probably set a destination, just drive there and then relax. And upon doing this and upon sharing stories and then the need and importance of this in my life, I had people now officially requesting to embark on such journeys with me. And that is the birth of countryside trips. So it's very key that we put some time aside, even if it's monthly, to go and have a destination somewhere, to go have relaxation somewhere, to go and explore and discover a particular place to add up to our memories, which of course cannot be erased. Like Prof said, it's not just about what people are saying to you, but what people are doing to you. It's not about the things you've heard, but it's about the things you have experienced yourself to add up to your memory bank for future references and for your own experience. Now, to the business of tourism, what are the little things that we can do to create, memories? The little things that we can do to create memories. First of all, let's let's look at feedback as an important tool. Like I keep dwelling on feedback. Feedback is not just from clients. Feedback can come or can be obtained from staff and then from external factors like clients, regulators, competitors, and all that. It's supposed to help us to know what we are doing right, and again, to do it and do it well, and what we are not doing right, or what areas we need improvement, so that we can adapt to change and we can modify things to basically be on top of our game. And again, we need to pay attention to also looking at what is being done elsewhere. How are the professionals or the experts doing it? Like Prof said, you cannot be the center of the world, wanting to do everything by yourself, wanting every single thing that happens in the world to be around you. No, other people are doing and again doing it well. You can take advantage to get closer, to experience what is happening there, and then bring it to yours to be able to even do it and even do it better. Now, permit me to use the words of some great artists and businessmen. My first person I would want to quote is Michael Lebow, and Michael Lebow says that a satisfied customer is the best business strategy. A satisfied customer is the best business strategy of all. So if I want to stand tall in my game, if I want to at least be known in a few years, few years.
Hello? Hello, Fred? I think we're having some challenges with Fred's network. Prof, are you still with us, please?
But we are not seeking the kingdom of God, but we are looking for all other things that will be added onto us. So that is where the profit comes in. So we should first of all be able to sit down and find ways and means we can satisfy the customer by knowing what the customer wants, by having feedback on what we did to the previous customer that we will not repeat to the current customer or the incoming one, and how we will make sure that our customers are happy with us. Our customers are happy with us. And again, there's my second quote I would also want to share is also from Philip Krugler. And Philip Krugler is an American actor, one of the greatest ones. I think he's about 95, 94 years. The last time I read something from him. Now, Philip says that the best advertisement is done by a satisfied customer. The best advertisement is done by a satisfied customer. So, of course, sometimes the efforts that we will take to go and trumpet our services, trumpet what we can do and all that can easily be done by the testimony of a satisfied customer. And they do this. Funny thing is that they do this when we don't even know. They sell us when we don't even know. They talk about us when we don't even know. So focusing on the kingdom of God is the client at hand and how we can create the experience for that person and all other things like the good names, the reputation, the money, the advertisement, and all that will come when we don't even know. So the little things again, which I want to repeat, is by getting to know what the clients want and getting to learn from other people how they are doing it. And again, meeting the client needs, the client expectations, and driving to client satisfaction. But the trick here is that, like Bill Gates said, there will be downfalls. There will be times where you may fail because maybe an activity A that you think you did for client A will work for client B may not work. However, your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. So in tourism, you can be taking about 10 people for a tour, a special tour. However, an activity that you may put in line may not meet or may not satisfy all the 10 people. There will be some clients, lack of better words, you say he's stubborn, but it's not just about being stubborn. It's about who they are and letting you know how they feel and what they want. If you're able to go through these storms and basically know how to manage each customer differently, but the bottom line is knowing what they want and meeting them, it will help you to be able to at least have different scenarios to treat different clients rather than probably a same approach for everybody. So it's important we meet different kinds of clients, different forms, different nature, different needs, and all that, and be able to go through it. Of course, there will be tough times. There will be customers, like in tourism, like I share experiences. There will be some clients who will even make you wonder why you are in this business. You understand? But again, like Bill Gates said, and I repeat, there are your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. So we need to learn from business and we need to be able to adapt to change. And again, we need to be able to learn from the others who are doing good. And we need to be able to bring this to bear in managing our clients. Yeah, the little things, but trust me, it works. A lot of people take feedbacks, but they never work feedbacks. It's like feedback has become an everyday thing. We do surveys which never goes anywhere. And I'm glad we have Prof here. He understands the world of research, the world of surveys, questionnaires, feedback, and all that. But how do we manage that? The aftermath of taking the feedback. How do we practically work with that? And that's why I think a lot of people are failing, and it's necessary that we correct it. So in like for countryside like this, I'm glad that we have some constant and loyal customers that they even keep chasing us. What is your next trip? Where's your next destination? They will always want to be a part and parcel of you because of the experience you give them. Again, they give you a correction for trip A, they want to see that change in trip B, and that is what constantly we are doing to be able to, if not 100% satisfy every customer, at least 101% should be able to. We should be able to do that. It means that we want to go beyond expectation, and that is what we are doing as countryside trips. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Are you still with us?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Great. So we've spoken extensively about the human element in the service. We've also touched on a few things in line with the profit. I mean, Fred actually spoke extensively before he came to the question, the substantive question that I asked, and he said he's speaking about the profit pressure that actually makes people want to tend to profit more than that. I want us to look at leadership really. What role, how much responsibility does leadership carry in maintaining a culture of warmth and genuine service in hospitality, Prof?
Thank you very much. Imagine your father doesn't take pork and you are bringing pork to the house. What's going to happen? Imagine your family is tranquil. They don't like trouble. They've trained you to be nice. And you are always bringing trouble to the house. Then you will see that all the effort that they did of making you have a nature that has served them greatly. You have undermined all of them. You have overlooked all of them. That is what makes leadership very, very, very serious, because you can do everything possible within your domain, and yet you always have some bad nuts. But the joy of every leader is that they don't allow their wings to be broken by disappointment. It is that unbeatable enthusiasm that every leader must put in their followers. That I can do, we will do spirit must always be there. What is leadership? And who is a leader? A leader is a person that is able to inspire others to get work done or to get vision accomplished, either with their physical body present or with the vision still being transient as it should be. So the onus on the shoulder of every leader is to be able to sow in the hearts and the minds of their followers to keeping on, no matter the storm, the vision, the vision, the vision, the vision. If people don't share in the vision, then it's more like throwing gold nuggets in front of chickens. They'll be yearning for grains. And that is one big thing that we see time and over in this country. That leaders often cover their bosom with almost the nitty-gritty of everything, such that their absence for even a week or two, or God forbid, even on their demise, you see an organization that was well functioning suddenly plummets into oblivion. Because why? They have made themselves the center of the world in their organization. Leaders are able to see their Joshuas and their Calebs. Leaders are able to see beyond the fence. Leaders have got what we call the stream or the river mindset, because they know that the ultimate is for the stream or the river to reach the ocean. And they may not even get to the ocean, but so far as they've caused the ripples not to stagnate with unneeded eutrophication and weed, they are always comfortable. So leadership is a big thing, and we must be able to look at leadership by, first of all, the kind of vision that we sow. Second point, the ineffable enthusiasm that we must exhibit towards actualizing that vision. The third is how we are able to build structures that enables us to be able to even save energy and not to be doing ping pong all over the board,
right,
of delegation and workplace all the time. And the last one that I really am always so concerned about is the issue of succession with leadership in Africa. We all know that we have transactional leadership where you do good, you get benefit from it. You do bad, you get a punishment from it. But we have got a transformational one where you create a Siamese feeling, where you feel like you are even an employee, but you are exhibiting entrepreneurship. Because when your boss falls, you know that you are falling with him. When he rises, you know that you are rising with your boss. That comes from a leader who is able to inspire the followers to get to know that this thing that we are doing goes beyond the Schumpeterian adagios or the Adamic principles of wealth creation and maximization. Because business these days cannot just take this line hook and sinker that all we care about is money. It is good,
okay, Prof,
that we should look at our market share and seek to become the market leader if we can.
right,
But then the thing is to always get to know, using the stakeholder theory and not the shareholder theory in business. Knowing that there are other stakeholders that are associated with the business, and all together they help in the sustainability of the business. That's why Philip Kotler will say again, the business space or the marketplace is moving at a nanosecond pace. The marketplace moving at a nanosecond pace is that if you are a business owner, you can suffer from marketing myopia by being so focused on the dynamics of a current situation, such that you lose sight of the broader menu, which you must consider. And that is the great thing that we must take. For example, in the 80s and then I think in the 90s, there was a business called business centers, okay, where people go and do internet cafe, quick telephone calls, and all that. Where is that business? Where is Nokia 3310? What is the performance of BlackBerry now? Motorola, what happened to it? Xerox, what happened to it? You see, we are in a very tumultuous situation. And as a business person, your leadership is always important. Your leadership is always important. The leadership will be able to tell you that these are the frontiers of what we are going to do. And that is why, in as much as we are looking for feedback, which is a great way of getting, data and information from our clients, okay, we must also be looking for feed-forward strategies. And by feed-forward strategies, we are able to prevent some of the hiccups even before they happen.
Right.
And blessed is any company that is so proactive enough to be investing more in feed-forward approaches. Because instead of creating the dents in the container before going to straighten them up, these companies are able to delight their customers. And like I said, if a customer is delighted, you get into their ebook set, such that any time that particular need arises in their mind, almost like magic, you find your name being mentioned, your brand being mentioned. We talk about the fact that, I got loyal customers, and they sometimes call me, hey, have you not got a trip coming? Why? That customer will be there, and that felt deprivation will be taken up. And they say that, but out of the many tour operators and travel services around, this guy gave me an experience that delighted me, and I would like to have multiple experience from that, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
And that is what we are looking at. Everybody want to be in the book set of their customers, and to achieve that, often these little things that we do comes from the augmented product,
right?
Because the core product is there, but what are the nuanced additions, the strategic additions that you put in there that gives you the urge over your customer? And that is what every company must do through their due diligence, through their business research and all that, their marketing research, to be able to get to know their target markets, and then be able to come up with a program that is almost a master key, the very soul of that actual customer or the potential customer.
Right. Okay,
That
Prof.
is the beauty of marketing. That is the beauty of management. That is the beauty of a leader, because a leader is able to really look in the eyes of the followers, look in the eyes of the customers, and they have this entrepreneurial insight to be able to get to know that this is the stuff that I have to do to be able to stay relevant in the marketplace.
Right. Okay. Prof, thank you very much. Our time is up, and so we have to go now. But I think it's been a great conversation. Very great submissions coming from both of you. And let me come to you, Fred finally, and then we can go. So Fred, from where you sit, what does the future of hospitality look like? Is it one driven by kindness, business, or maybe a balance of both?
Right, me.
Yeah.
So there's this fine gentleman, Norman Schwarzkopf, who said that leadership in business is actually a combination of strategy and character. And character here defines kindness among other social elements. However, if you must be without one in business, be without strategy. So, in actual sense, the kindness, the character, the social impact, the memories, and all that are, are key elements that will help a business grow. And again, that will help create some loyalty in the client. Now, with regards to the future of hospitality in the country, it's basically an industry which we haven't gotten there yet. I mean, if you look at Ghana and other countries, even just in Africa, you talk about countries like the Tanzanias, the South Africa, the Senegal. Dakar is an amazing place with a lot of tourist attraction sites. Now, the reason, not necessarily because these sites are bigger or better than what we have in Ghana, but it's because locals, we haven't really paid attention to the amazing spots or the amazing destinations we have here in Ghana. So oftentimes you may have friends coming to Ghana and you don't even know where to take them. It's because we as Ghanaians haven't even paid attention to explore the amazing places, destinations in Ghana. That is why I always advocate that as Ghanaians, at least in every month, try and explore places. Accra alone has a lot of places to see. Talk of the Volta region, Eastern Ashanti, and all the other 15 regions. If you don't know it, if you haven't seen it, friends will come to Ghana and you don't even know where to take them. I had an experience in Dakar where I spent a number of days. My first day, I was with a friend who don't even know the place very well. Now, I realized that I was getting too bored, and what happened was that I had to consult and find a tourist, someone into tourism. You understand, a tourist manager or a trip advisor who sat with me to know my experience and plan something with me. And trust me, I couldn't even exhaust the places he mentioned because there are a lot of hidden gems or destinations that you can see. But a typical Ghanaian, like my friend in Dakar, didn't know about them. So we may have friends coming, and again, we don't know where to take them. That is why it's either you explore to know and take your friends, or you give them an expert who will be able to do for them. Because at the end of the day, it's the memories that the person is taking away. The person can come to Ghana and spend even a month and not go to any site or any satisfactory site because you don't give them options. So the industry needs nurturing. We are not there yet in terms of infrastructure, in terms of accessibility. And I think the ministry and the tourism department is doing amazing. You can talk of some sites that they've really paid attention to and others that they are yet to get to. And I know we'll get there. It needs nurturing. And again, it needs constant awareness for people to know they exist. And again, those on grounds will also need to know how to manage, how to receive, and how to create lasting memories. Now, this very gentleman who died in 2020, Tony Insien, one of I think a former CEO for Zados, he said that customer service shouldn't just be a department, rather be an entire company. So, of course, we all work as industry players, but it shouldn't just be the ministry or just shouldn't be the tourism department. However, it should be a collective something. Like I said earlier, Ghanaians, we pride ourselves in hospitality, goodwill, and peace. We should protect, cherish, and continuously do it to remind our foreign friends and even our locals that this is what we pride ourselves in. If we are able to do that, we create lasting memories. And it's funny, sometimes you go to other countries and people know that you are from Ghana, and automatically they start smiling with you. Or you may mention that you're from another country
Right.
and they start frowning at you. It's because of what they see we to be. They know that we are always carrying smiles. They know we are peaceful. They know we are friendly. We know hospitality is one of our assets. So we need to protect it. And again, if you're able to do that consciously and subconsciously, we would actually attract people. And again, we will be received when we go to the other countries.
Okay.
So yes,
Fred.
we need to grow to be able to meet international standards.
All right.
But we'll get there.
We'll get there.
And we'll get
All right.
there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Fred. Thank you so much, Prof, also for joining us this morning. I think it's been a very rich conversation, and I'm really grateful that you guys made time to join me. You to make time to join me. All right. So, like I said, it's been a rich conversation. We've heard that while profits and performance are both important, the real heartbeat of hospitality lies in people, actually, in kindness, in empathy, and genuine care. Now, at the end of the day, guests don't just remember the food or the rooms. They actually remember how they were treated and how they were made to feel. And that's exactly what keeps them coming back. So, a big thank you once again to my guest, Professor Gabriel Lishin is a professor of tourism at the University of Johannesburg, and also Fred Asante is the managing partner at Countryside Trips Ghana. And these are the two gentlemen that joined me for this important conversation. And of course, thank you to you also for listening to us this morning and being part of this conversation. We're back again next week for other conversations that will also gear towards the improvement of our businesses and also our lifestyle and leisure. So thank you very much. My name is Nii Trebi Hammond. Please do continue listening to Z101.9 FM and do what to take very good care of yourself this weekend. Up next is the Impact by Riser Brink Project. Please